What is up, guys? It's your boy Rick Kakis, and today I'm talking to you face to face because the last time I did was for my video on the insanity of the Desert Perpetual Contest Mode race. I had just come out of 12 hours battling against it, and I felt dejected, hopeless, and yes, I am washed. I am bad. I am an official Destiny 2 dad. My skills aren't where they used to be, but in that video, I just expressed my concerns that 4 damage check raid bosses back to back to back that require certain team comps, that require certain loadouts, and require loadout swaps may have been a bit much. And if that's the difficulty direction going forward, at least Bungie could have given us a bit of a warning, right? Now, importantly, at the time I made that video, not a single team had cleared Desert Perpetual at contest mode. But a few hours after, we got our first clear, and then the second day, clears started rolling in, with in total a little over 500 teams actually beating the Desert Perpetual on contest difficulty. At that point, the narrative started to shift. Maybe this raid really wasn't that bad. Even though just 500 teams out of all the participants, it was undoubtedly, just statistically, one of the hardest raids of all time. But again, over 500 teams, maybe it really wasn't that bad. If that many teams got a completion, maybe it wasn't that bad. Well, would you look at that? And so, guys, this is one of the most insane things that has ever happened in terms of Destiny raiding in the history of the franchise. We have got to talk about it. And so, let's get started. Now, yes, that headline is accurate. Around 70% of the teams are looking like that amount. It's such a high amount. It is seemingly over the majority of teams who got a contest clear on the Desert Perpetual raid were cheating. Like, okay. So the narrative about it being not that bad dies now, okay? Like again, if Bungie intended it to be that hard, there are absolutely teams who beat it without cheating. If it's just going to be that hard and that exclusive going forward, it is what it is. I'm not here to say that they should have a second contest mode or to take away anything from the people who got it legitimately. In fact, if anything, this adds so much clout to the people who did get it legitimately. Like, oh my goodness, but 70% of the teams who beat on contest were just cheating. Now let's talk about how do we know that? Because as you can see right here, I saw a bunch of tweets talking about this cheater situation. And I replied because, I think I was grinding the game at the time. So I replied, how do you know they're cheating? What's the way you can tell that these teams are actually cheating? And here's what I found out. So it has been a while since the contest Desert Perpetual took place. And in that time, the website Raid Report, which is a fantastic tool for gathering raid stats, it has been preparing to release its data on the Desert Perpetual Contest Mode. And late last night, it did. And so this website will show every single person's stats for a run. And so it shows how many kills did you get? How many deaths did you get? How long did it take you to beat this encounter? And based on those stats alone, we can definitively say so many teams cheated. And here's an example of a team that did cheat. Now, I did censor the names because there are some things about witch hunting in the TOS, and knowing Bungie, they might ban me for exposing cheaters before they ban the cheaters. But regardless, guys, you can clearly see one person on the team just gets over 300 kills. Everyone else gets 1, 2 kills. That is essentially impossible, right? It is so obvious that what happened here is that one person on the team is a cheater that carried the rest of the team to the completion. And doing that is very easy. There's a running joke within the Destiny 2 community about the Xenophage Catalyst, because what cheaters will do is, for whatever reason, they often do pick the Xenophage, and then they have a Xenophage, that fires at 900 rounds per minute with infinite ammo, right? So this is what people can do. They have infinite damage weapons, essentially. They can turn on flying around the map. They can turn on invincibility hacks. They're just gods. And they just kill every single enemy, and then maybe their team has to do the mechanics, but they're doing it with 0 enemies on the map, and then the cheater just gets an instant kill of the boss. No worrying about phases, right? Hey, turns out they don't have a lot of health when you have a full auto 900 RPM Xenophage. Now the health bars ain't so bad, right? And so they just absolutely get an easy clear, and so a cheater has carried a team to the completion, and then the whole team will get the contest mode emblem. That's one of the crazy parts here, guys. That's why it was done. That's it. Clout and an emblem. People were willing to risk their accounts for clout and an emblem. Anyways, it's not just one person with 99% of the kills, because maybe there's some of you going, well, maybe it was just the most talented player of all time hard carrying. This is from Paul Tassie's Forbes article on the situation. So here is the kind of different ways that they could tell if someone is cheating. And this is coming from the people looking at this. So first of all is what I talked about, the most obvious. One person carrying with a lot of kills while the rest of the team barely has any. The next one, incredibly fast clear times, 10 to 20 minutes, for these insanely hard sections that took legitimate teams hours. That is another thing. So again, in the example I showed, they're getting this clear of final boss in 17 minutes. Remember, on contest mode, the health bars were so insane that it was taking teams 5 phases or whatever it was to actually get these bosses down. Now, as more strategies evolved, people got the phases quite a bit down, but like we are talking about the fact that, the teams attempting it were actually using the new Land Beyond sniper rifle and building up its exotic perk where every precision hit you get will increase the damage. They were building it up by farming ads for like so long, and then they would go up and actually do damage with that thing. Like, that is what we were talking about. It was insanity how long it took legitimate teams to beat these encounters. And so if someone's banging out in 20 minutes or less, something's going on. You know what I mean? Another one. Certain weapons like Lorentz Driver or Duality to help with rate limiting, some specific armor, blue rockets, or a few telltale signs. So yes, the cheater will have a brand new account and they barely have any weapons and they have a blue rocket launcher still. Because they're cheating, like it doesn't matter what weapons they have. Or again, Lorentz Driver and Duality, it can help them net limit, right? Net limiting is a version of cheating where you can essentially trick the game. There's certain things where, you have to plant a certain amount of objects into something, or in this case specifically for this raid, you have to jump through the hoop with this chronons multiple times to fill up the hourglass to progress the encounter, right? But if you net limit, and I don't know specifically how it works for this encounter, but like you might be able to jump through the hoop once, net limit, and it just messes with the game code. It's almost like lag switching. And then suddenly you just go through a million times with one chronon and you just fill it up in one go. Like people would net limit to stuff you had to plant. Like you have to plant a certain amount of motes to like trigger the next thing. They would just net limit on the plant and it would just complete it like instantly, right? I'm not sure specifically how it works, but I think that's a pretty good explanation of like kind of what the net limiting would do maybe in that encounter. Another thing, endless heavy kills. You can have a lot of heavy if you have someone run the Cenotaph mask. Not that much, gamer. You know what I mean? If someone is using a Xenophage or whatever they're using nonstop, but they have only heavy kills, you know what I mean? Is everyone using the Cenotaph mask on your team? I'm pretty sure Bungie nerfed multiple people using it, actually, so. You know what? One more thing, new accounts that barely have any raid clears. So yes, I'm sure one person out there just started Destiny 2 and is legitimately that insane at the game that they have a few clears and they actually got a contest mode clear. But for the most part, the people who are getting these contest mode clears are people who are the best at the game. They have been practicing DPS rotations, loadout swaps, all that stuff that was required for the day one. And so these are people who have hundreds, if not thousands, of raid clears on their record. And so when you have someone with 3 raid clears previously, and usually these things would pile up. It's not any one of these things. It's like, okay, you have 3 raid clears, you got 400 kills while the rest of your team did nothing, all with heavy. Gotcha. You know what I mean? Like, we gotcha. And what I want to show you guys is actually, you know, I had this conversation, and people were really nice about it, saying like, here's how we're identifying these cheaters. Here's what we're looking at. And they actually showed me, they have a Google document that is going over how many teams they've identified as cheaters. Let's look at it here. All right. The 16th place cheated, 20th cheated, 21st cheated, 24th cheated, 25th cheated, 26th cheated, 27th place cheated, 28th place cheated, 29th, 20th, 30th, 31, 32, 34, 35. My dog's freaking out. 39, 41, 42, 45. It goes. That is just the top 100. They stopped at the top 100, guys. So what is that? 80%? 80% of the top 100 cheated. And then overall, it drops down to 70% if you include all the teams. I'm kind of a loss for words. Like, the integrity of contest mode, the integrity of this emblem is gone. Like, this, obviously, you have the people who got it legit. Snazzy Rock got the world's first place and stuff like that. His, obviously, is completely loaded with clout. Like, and I don't mean, again, I'm just saying this completely positively. The teams who legitimately beat it, they have this unbelievably rare emblem, but I mean, this sucks for them, dude. It's like, every time I see this emblem now, I'm going to think, is this guy get legit? Or is this guy a cheater? And it's like, yeah, okay, you have, again, Snazzy Rock and other people who beat it. They were streaming. They can prove they obviously were not cheating. But like anyone who wasn't now, it comes into question. And then, you know, there are a couple of teams who weren't, you know, big streamers who did get legit clears. And now everything's just coming into question. And so the big question now is like, what do we do about this? What does Bungie do about this? A lot of people are saying, nuke them all. Like, you know what I mean? We get rid of every single one of these accounts. If you were playing with a cheater, your account gets nuked. Because that's happened before. On the PvP side of things, if you get carried by people hard cheating and stuff like trials, your account is at risk. Playing with a cheater can absolutely get your account hard banned. Will this happen this time? Maybe. So again, a lot of people are just saying ban them all. Ban them all. And you have websites like Raid Report they're starting to remove these obvious cheater teams. And so it's actually really funny. I was playing with someone last night on stream, twitch.tv/CacasHD. It was a really fun time. You should come check it out. But they had gotten this clear, and, you know, they claim, no, I believe this person, they got it legit. They're a very good team. They got it legit. And he was saying, like, I've just watched my placement get more and more insane. You know, I was, whatever he was, it was like I was 170th. Now I'm like almost at the top 100 because they've just been removing so many cheater teams in between like my place that I'm just like, my placement's getting better and better and better and better. Like, insane. And again, when I say removing cheater teams, I'm talking about third-party websites are doing this, not Bungie. So again, we get back to this thing. What does Bungie do? Ban them all? Maybe. I mean, guys, we have literally people have assembled these lists. I showed you the Google document. Bungie, they have the easiest job of all time if they want to ban these people. They just go and, all right, place whatever. Yep. Okay. Yeah. One guy got 400 kills with nothing but a heavy. Yeah. Everyone's banned, right? All right. Next team. All right. Like, the community has already identified which teams are cheating. Is that too far? I mean, at least people are saying at least strip the emblems. At least get those emblems out of those accounts. But then it's like, if you don't lose your account, you just lose the emblem, and it's kind of like a slap on the wrist. Are you just going to try to cheat again for the next day one? Right? Like, that's the big worry. The worst thing would be that Bungie does nothing. This was already an extremely controversial contest mode. A lot of people felt it was just too much. The health was just insane. It was also mired in the fact that people did damage testing and definitively proved that the power delta of the contest mode was not what was advertised and was potentially significantly harder than like what was displayed, what people expected, what the activity difficulty says, right? Bungie even acknowledges, they said that they're investigating this. Now, we haven't seen the results of the investigation, but like, why would Bungie say they're investigating the power delta being off if this was exactly what Bungie intended? Something went wrong along the way. Maybe it didn't affect the health of the bosses. Maybe they actually, maybe that was how it was supposed to be. But now there's all this controversy around it. It was incredibly difficult. A lot of people felt it was just way too much. There's the question about it being glitch difficulty. And then it was so insane. 70% of teams resorted to getting a cheater to carry them through this contest mode. What a complete disaster. Like, what a complete disaster of a raid race. And, I've seen people also say that, hey, this comes on the curtails of Bungie has layoffs. They did previously, not recently, but like in the recent bout of, in the most recent bout of Bungie layoffs, the security team got hit. So they're laying off people in the security team. And now our first day one raid after that point, most cheaters we've ever seen getting the emblems. Extremely frustrating, and it just sucks for everyone. The people who did it legit, now you have this raid just mired in controversy. The people who didn't get it, the people who failed and are frustrated, they're now more frustrated than ever before seeing this many cheaters participating. So Bungie's going to need to do something. And I really just don't think that maybe taking the emblems away is enough. They need to set a hard precedent and say, if you, just like in Trials, just like in PvP, if you're getting a cheater to carry you to an emblem, you're going to get your account nuked. An emblem is not worth getting your account nuked. And I guarantee if they actually do that, they actually follow through, the next time, there's not going to be very many people cheating. If that's what it can actually result in, is getting your account perma'd, I think you're going to see the cheating rates drastically lower. There's still going to be people doing it. There's always going to be there's always going to be people doing it, but hopefully never at this insane of a rate ever again. Anyways, guys, just want to talk about this. That's it for the video. Hope you enjoyed and found this informative. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCactus. That's linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.